What's up residents, Alistair here, and today we're going to go over how MechaGodzilla could work in the Monsterverse. A while back we made a video on how MechaGodzilla couldn't work in the Monsterverse, going over how mankind's current technology wouldn't be capable of building such an advanced machine. But today we're going to go over all the reasons as to why it may be possible, being that MechaGodzilla may very well show up in Godzilla vs Kong. But before we get to that, be sure to follow us on Twitter at DangervilleTeam, so you don't miss out on all the news regarding your favourite giant monsters and the upcoming Jurassic World film. And don't forget to subscribe to join thousands of other residents that currently reside in Dangerville. Now let's get to it. The idea of turning a giant creature into a robot isn't anything new, and has found popularity throughout the years. We've seen it with Mecha Kong, Mecha King Ghidorah, and some people have even attempted to design a Mecha Muto. But MechaGodzilla is easily one of the most iconic giant monsters in history, being featured in nearly a dozen Godzilla films, has had 9 books written about it, over 16 video games, has been parodied countless times, and has prominent cameos in other blockbusters. Also, he's just badass. Many have stated that they want to see the titular character return for Godzilla vs Kong, and with the rather indisputable evidence, it looks like they're going to get their wish. So, how could he work in the Monsterverse? Firstly, why would Monarch want to create a mechanized giant, or a weapon of any kind that can hurt Godzilla? Well, as stated at the end of King of the Monsters, Godzilla is only on their side, for now. Meaning because of his unpredictability, he could turn on them in an instant if he decided that what the humans were doing was in opposition of the natural order. The humans need to be prepared for that possibility, alongside the fact that some other giant monsters like Ghidorah may also show up with ill intentions. They must be prepared for anything. But why wouldn't humanity just make a more super advanced defense system like aircrafts or battleships that are kitted out with the latest tech, something that would be easier and cheaper to build, and more mobile than a 400-foot bipedal machine? Well, there are 2 answers. One being the technology just isn't there yet to efficiently act as a defense against the Titans, and secondly, limited resources. They'd have to find an energy source that can fend off the Titans for an extended period of time. So how do they overcome these hurdles and build a machine that can efficiently defend cities or military bases from Godzilla attacks? Well, if many of you recall, Kiryu from Godzilla vs MechaGodzilla used the original Gojira's bones as a skeletal framework for constructing the metal monster. The bones were intended to take over the subconscious motor control functions through a quasi-organic computer system. However, when Kiryu was released to fight Godzilla, the original Gojira's memories took over the machine, breaking free of its pilot's controls, and began to wreak havoc on Japan, continuing his path of destruction that he started in 1954. The bones are a relevant plot device for the story, so could a similar plot device be used in Godzilla vs Kong to homage the Toho film? As you recall, Monarch are stationed in the Philippines around the bones of Dagon, a member of Godzilla's species. So could these bones also be used as a skeletal framework for MechaGodzilla? What advantages would it give them? Well, Godzilla's bones, specifically his dorsal plates, absorb radiation and store it in a way to energize and fire his atomic breath. If the humans were able to find a way to harness this radiation, they'd have unlimited resources, and that's through nuclear fission. This may very well explain why they need the machine to take Godzilla's form, instead of something like an aircraft or a battleship. And it explains the question as to how they overcome the limited resources. By essentially building a nuclear reactor around Dagon's bones, they'd have an endless supply of radiation to act as a power supply, with weapons that act as a deterrent to other giant monsters, as they have the power to essentially replicate Godzilla's devastating atomic breath. This way it makes more sense that humans would create such a machine, as it's their only viable method of fighting back against the Titans. There have been other hints from leaks that the humans have found new advanced ways of harnessing and using radiation, though we won't go over those until it's been officially shown off. In my opinion, the idea is so out there and so far-fetched that it might just work. We've heard from various sources that Godzilla vs Kong will be going all out with the ridiculous factor, mimicking the films from the Showa era. If this is the case, then I hope they just go all in, and make the most badass and ridiculous film they can. So why not have a MechaGodzilla with Dagon's bones in it? If they can make the world still feel real whilst making the film just a fun monster brawl, then I'll be happy. Would I have preferred a more grounded and realistic film like the 2014 Godzilla film? Yeah, but I'm just gonna go into Godzilla vs Kong expecting a fun, silly film and just appreciate it for what it is. So this answers the question that we set up earlier in the video. MechaGodzilla will essentially be a walking fortress housing a nuclear reactor, and will most likely have a weapon that imitates Godzilla's atomic breath, due to the fact it uses the same energy source. It'll be super interesting to see if this comes true, and if so, how Godzilla will react to the humans turning one of his allies into a weapon. Perhaps this gives him motivation to turn evil. We'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed this theory and want to hear more about Godzilla vs Kong, then be sure to subscribe and become a resident of Dangerville today. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it helps us out a lot. And remember to leave a comment about what you think of MechaGodzilla showing up in Godzilla vs Kong. I've been Alistair from Dangerville, and residents, we'll see you in the next one.